In this module, we will explore how tutors use questioning to help clients achieve a better understanding of a topic. Tutors may use questions in different ways to strengthen content comprehension. Questioning can be used for both diagnosis and teaching. Clients often cannot verbalize when they need clarification on a topic, so questioning can be used to narrow in on content that they do not understand. Questioning can also be used to lead clients in the direction of correct ideas through student verbalization, as we discussed previously in Module 5. Questions also come in two types: open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions are those that require a short answer response. Closed-ended questions are those that require a one-word answer or phrase. Avoid closed-ended questions when looking for elaboration, as they often don't ask the client to look deeper into the content. Open-ended questions help encourage student verbalization and ask the client to explore all aspects of a particular topic. Let's watch how these tutors use questioning to discover what the client knows and does not know, and to further lead the client to the correct answer.
So you're working on the proper etiquette for online shopping in class, is that correct?
Yes.
Is this a concept you struggle with?
No, I understand everything, I think.
Do you have any questions related to online shopping?
No, I've shopped online before.
See how closed-ended questions limit the amount of elaboration that a session requires? The tutor has no way of knowing whether the client actually understood the concepts because they did not review the material together. Let's see how a session unfolds using open-ended questions.
So you're working on the proper etiquette for online shopping in class. Can you tell me more about what you have covered in class?
Well, we discussed the use of promo codes to lower the cost of buying items online.
Okay, great. Can you tell me the best way to use a promo code?
Well, before purchasing anything online, you should utilize websites and apps that display promo codes and coupons for a variety of store websites. When you add that code to the checkout order, it discounts the subtotal on your purchase, and you end up spending less money in the long run.
Great. What have you learned about discounts on shipping costs?
Oh yeah. Sometimes you can combine offers. Some store websites have free shipping after you spend a certain amount, and if you combine that offer with a promo code, you can maximize your savings.
Perfect. It seems like you have a really good grasp on concepts.
Yeah.
Tutors often use questions that tap into different levels of knowledge as classified by Bloom's taxonomy, particularly at the memory, comprehension, and application levels. Comprehension and application questions are generally open-ended because students will usually have to think and speak at length in order to explain concepts and how they are applied. On the other hand, memory or recall questions are usually closed-ended. The first type of question used in Bloom's taxonomy are memory questions. Memory questions allow tutors to check understanding of smaller basic ideas before building up to more complex information. Clients are asked to recall small details such as definitions and facts on certain topics. Assessing a client's knowledge on basic concepts allows for elaboration on more complex concepts later on. Memory questions can also help a tutor talk a client through applications of each concept. Watch how these tutors utilize memory questions.
So we just covered the origin of different types of pasta.
Yeah.
Can you recall how the different types of pasta are named based on their shapes?
I know that spaghetti has like a rope-like shape because spaghi means twines, and penne pasta is named after a pen because the slant at the end looks like a quill.
Very good. What about farfalle?
Oh yeah, farfalle is shaped like a bow tie or wings because the plural farfalla means butterfly. So I'm having trouble with the word cardiomyopathy. What does that mean?
Well, okay, let's break down the word and see if we can figure it out. So the first part, cardio, what does that base mean?
Well, cardio means heart.
Right. And the next part, myo?
Doesn't that mean muscle? And I'm pretty sure pathy means disease process.
That's exactly right. So put it all together now.
Cardiomyopathy is a disease process affecting the muscles of the heart?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Nice.
A comprehension level question requires the student to explain the material or form a short reply that demonstrates comprehension of the concept. Let's see a few examples of this type of questioning.
So what does it mean for something to be oxidized?
It gains electrons?
So in regards to personal finance, what is a CD?
It's a certificate of deposit.
Yes, but what does it do?
It's sort of like a savings account, but with a higher interest rate. The catch is that you agree to keep the money in the account for a certain time period without making any withdrawals. But the benefit is that you make much more in interest.
Very good. That's the exact answer I was looking for.
Watch Taylor's reaction when the student has difficulty with a question phrased at the comprehension level. After waiting and observing the student, they rephrase the question at the memory level.
You can evaluate the quality of your insurance by comparing things like the policy's coverage and deductible.
Yes, but when we talk about insurance, what is a deductible? Remember in class when you talked about insurance policies, your professor talked about a certain amount of money that a person has to pay before their insurance will start to pay for things? That amount of money is called a...
Oh, that's the deductible!
Let's see some more examples of comprehension level questions. Your personal finance exam is next week, so what are the 3 basic steps in creating a budget?
Well, first you determine how much money you earn per month. Second, you make a list of all the things you spend money on and how much of each of those things cost. And then you subtract all of those expenses from your monthly earnings and then determine whether or not you need to cut back.
Very good. Don't forget to include savings as an expense when you fill in your mock budget on the exam.
Okay.
Can you tell me how to properly remove an oil stain from clothes?
You have to put cornstarch on the stain, then flip it over, iron the other side of the stain with no cornstarch. That usually works.
Application requires the student to demonstrate the correct use of a concept or method of a problem solution. This is important because it forces the student to show that they know the material and can complete it when the tutor or teacher is not present. So today I think we should cover the way we should draw a hand turkey.
Okay, I'm a little unsure about that.
How about you take a sheet of paper and place your hand on it?
Okay, so I just trace my hand. Then color the fingers different colors. And add a face.
Yes, great job.
Thank you.
Socratic questioning is important because it helps the tutor learn about the student's thinking and then builds upon their ideas. Some examples would include, why would you say that? What is your thinking here? Can you please give an example? Okay, so now that we just covered how to properly walk to class, let's cover the proper etiquette on walking in and out of buildings.
Okay, so you should open the door unless somebody is already walking through the door.
Can you explain your thinking more here?
Yeah, if someone's walking through the door and there's no room for me to walk through it,
Yes, so what should you do if someone is behind you?
well, I should hold it open to be kind.
Yes, can you elaborate?
Yes, it is important to be nice because then that person is more likely to be kind to others. Kind is like a pay it forward type of thing.
Yes, great job. In this module, we have discussed how questioning can be used in tutoring sessions. It is important to remember to use open-ended questions to allow for more elaboration, whereas closed-ended questions are used for memory recall. Using Bloom's taxonomy, the tutor can decide on the appropriate level of question for the content that is being examined. Finally, we learned about Socratic questioning, which allows the tutor to push the student's thought process when answering a question. Try utilizing these methods of questioning during your next session. Thank you.